Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 34 of our Lake County Sentinel Entertainment Extra Beyond the Gates weekly recap of the best soap opera on television. It's our Halloween show today. Happy Halloween to everyone, all the little ghosts and goblins out there who go trick or treat tonight and get some really, get some good candy, but you make sure your parents check it before you eat it. That's always important. So we got a lot to talk about on Gates this week. We got, Vanessa, talked to Danny about being further involved in the business last week. So this week, Danny was concerned about, Vanessa's relationship with Danny. And, Vanessa basically told Danny, stay out of it. Like she told Nicole. I don't think, her and Nicole have talked since she blew up at Nicole for interfering with her and Danny. But so what do we got here? We got that. A lot going on with the Hawthorns. Chief Elon Hawthorne, police chief. Jacob, who's married to Naomi. And then their new son has come to town. That's Isaiah Hawthorne. He's come to town, played by David Lemmy Freeby. If I said that right, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong and mispronouncing it, but he's the new brother, Isaiah Hawthorne, in town, and it looks like him and Elon do not get along. A bad father-son relationship there. So, Joey though talked to Elon later about, the problem with Marcel. I think they both want Marcel gone. They know Marcel can be a problem. He's a snitch. He's a bad cop. Although I think let's face it, Jacobs called his dad out for it. Elon's a bad cop too, and he's running the whole show. So I think that the fact then Joey brought up that he would like Elon, he would like Jacob to be his next informant, and Elon told him, no way. My son's clean, and that's what he's going to stay clean. And so, I think that Joey, he was just, I think, trying to get under Elon's skin. But getting back to Elon, Jacob, and Isaiah, they had a blow up in the police station. Jacob and or Isaiah and Elon really went at it. Jacob tried to be the peacemaker, and it was a typical family argument, I think, and nobody wins. So Isaiah did mention that he had a job offer at Banneker, to be the, he had a job offer there, but this Yolanda woman, who was his ex, he wasn't going to take the job because of her, but now it seems like because she is his ex, he is going to take the job. So it'll be interesting to see. Yolanda hasn't been seen on camera yet. She's an off-screen character. It'll be interesting to see if who she is and what the dynamic is going to be. Kat seems to be very interested in this. I don't know. Kat might be interested in this just because she will do anything to cause Eva problems. And so that's basically, I think, what her involvement is in this thing. So it's going to be interesting. A new character. I always like new characters on soaps. It's always fun to see the development of a new character on a soap opera, So we'll see how Isaiah is developed. And I like how his name is spelled too. It's not the normal Isaiah, Isaiah. It's Isaiah with a Z instead of an S. I like that. So it seems like he's going to be an interesting character. I'm not sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy yet. I'm leaning toward good guy, but we don't know. Maybe a good guy who's had some issues, and is actually a good guy, but sometimes looks like a bad guy. I don't know. So, but Martin and Smitty, here was a bombshell of the week. Martin and Smitty walked in on Samantha and Nathan on the couch kissing, and, well, they had half their clothes off already. And Nathan had taken a condom out. So Smitty and Martin were absolutely, well, they were pissed off. They threw Nathan out. They told him he can never see her again. Samantha was horrified. It took her a couple days, but she finally, Martin overheard Samantha telling Nicole that it was basically because of Kat's advice that she was going to do it with Nathan. And when Martin heard that, it was not good. He was really mad at his sister. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, he's going to confront her at some point. He didn't today. But that's going to be ugly when he confronts her. So, there's that. Haley continues to execute her plan to get rid of Bill, now that we found out that she's a con woman and she really wasn't in love with Bill ever. It was pretty much a con. So I think what we're going to find out is that, Bill today they bought a property in St. Frank, I think it was, one of those saints down in the Caribbean. And instead of having it in both their names, he puts it in her name. Well, that gives her more fuel to want to kill him and get rid of him, because now she could just go there. She didn't even have to worry about escaping after she kills him. She could just kill him and then get on an airplane and she's free the rest of her life. So he didn't help himself out. Bill didn't help himself out much there. But so we got that. The Bill and Haley, Bill had it was a different side of Bill earlier in the week when him and Tomas were talking, and he started getting on. Tomas. Cat came in and was joking with Cat about injuring Tomas like she did. And Cat didn't like it very much. Of course she didn't. Cat's a little witch. And she left town. She left the office. But I thought it was pretty funny because she's a bitch. So her Uncle Bill was making fun of her, and that was fun. She's a witch. She deserves some humiliation. Terrell confronted Nathan at the Halloween party at Uptown. They were. He overheard him talking negatively about his sister on the phone, and so he confronted him, and he really stuck up for him, and he did what's great. What happens to a bully? The bully wanted to fight him, and he said, go ahead, punch me. That's fine. My dad says words are better than fists in solving problems. And the coward Nathan, he left. And Terrell's new girlfriend, Jessica, she was really happy that Terrell stuck up for his sister the way he did. And there was a little bit between Ashley, Derek, and Andre earlier in the week. They talked to each other at the hospital. At a Halloween party. I don't know where it was at. They made it like the Halloween episode was going to be really amazing. It was kind of disappointing. I thought they would have something at the Dupree Mansion or something, and it would be, but it was kind of disappointing. But Andre and Derek and Ashley talked at the this party. I'm not sure where it was at, and Derek and Ashley told Andre that they were going to go to Spain for their honeymoon and not France. And he was kind of surprised by that. But then Andre, he left. He said he had to go home to his wife, Danny. And Danny's all over town. She's everywhere. And it's going to be interesting to see. I feel like the thing with Forrester Creations, like I said last week, that the the crossover between Bold and the Beautiful and Beyond the Gates isn't done. I think that there's going to be more. I think eventually Andre and Danny will do the shoot for Forrester Creations, but I feel like Andre might be hiding something. There might be something that happened in Europe that he doesn't want people to know about. And I think that's why he didn't want to do the photo shoot. Because what other reason would he have not to model and do a photo shoot with his wife? I really do think that there's something going on there. And what we need, we'll find out eventually. But I feel like the crossover's not over yet. And, Leslie and Ted, they're trying to be friends. But, of course, at the end today, Ted tells her how he's going to try to be a good father to Eva. And she's grateful for that. And she hugs him. And, of course, what happens? Of course, Nicole walks in right when she's hugging him. As soon as she hugs him, Nicole walks in. And, of course she sees it, so that's the typical soap opera thing where, someone comes in at the wrong moment and assumes something, and that's what's going to happen here. And Nicole, she's just always Nicole's looking for something to be the victim about. She's divorced him. She told him they're not getting back together. So why should she get mad if she sees him hugging Leslie? She shouldn't. They do have a daughter together. But, everything's always about Nicole. It's always about her. She's the only person that matters. She's very arrogant. She is. She's very arrogant and self-absorbed, Nicole, played by Daphne Duplex. And, it's no wonder that Kat is such a snob, because her mom's a snob. Her mom is a snob. Martin is more like Ted. But it's not surprising that Kat is a snob because Nicole is a snob. It's always about Nicole. She was so perfect. Remember how perfect she was? She'd brag about her and Ted, how perfect they were. Well, they weren't, were they? They weren't. And it's, and it was Ted's fault, but she's just such a, it's just very annoying how, she is, Nicole. I could be more sympathetic to her if she wasn't such a snob. She really is a snob. And she does the charity work to be patted on the back. Let's be honest. That's why she does charity work, to be patted on the back, Nicole. She's one of my least favorite characters. No, I think I've said that since the beginning. I don't like Nicole. I can't stand Kat. I'm starting to like Ashley a little more because she's whining a little less. She's with Derek, so she's a little less whiny, but still, she's not top anymore on my disliked character list. Nicole and Kat, they're right up there. They're the top right now. I mean, Danny's one of my favorites. I love Danny. She's the exact opposite of Nicole. I mean, she may play the victim card, but she goes out and she does something about it. Nicole, she just wants to stand there and whine, and everybody should understand why life is so hard for Nicole. Nicole, give me a break. Actually, we think about this. Think about this at this point. At this point of the show, okay, we are 8 months in. All right, 34 weeks in. Think about this, though. Who's the more likable character? Nicole or Leslie? Honestly, it's probably Leslie. She's nuts. She's crazy. But she's definitely more likable than the snobby, boring, I'm perfect, you're not, Nicole. So that's, that's my thoughts on Nicole. I guess I've pretty much given her picture will probably disappear from the Beyond the Gates cast when I pull it up next time. Like Jen Jacobs' picture disappeared too when I said I couldn't stand Ashley. So, but I mean, that's who she is. That's how they've created the character. So, but I still think her and Ted will eventually get back together. But it will be interesting to see how the holidays are on the show. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Where will Ted be? He pretty much certainly isn't going to get invited to the Duprees for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Although there is, a few weeks until Thanksgiving, about a month and a half, a little more, month and 3 weeks until Christmas. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Will Haley have killed Bill by then? I don't think she's going to actually kill Bill. I think Bill's either going to catch on to her and trick her, or Bill will survive her poisoning, even though, sounds like she's done this before. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for her to continue the poisoning. But what's kind of funny and unrealistic is how Leslie just walks into Nicole's house all the time. Like, you ever notice that on soap operas? How people just walk into people's houses? Like, Jesus, my neighbors don't walk into my house. My friends don't just walk into my house unless I told them to just come in. And she's not even a friend or a neighbor. And she just walks right into Nicole's house. I thought there was security in Fairmount Crest. They always talk about security. Well, where the hell is it? It's amazing to me. She walks into the Duprees too, like the most important people in Fairmount Crest, and she just walks into a former senator. She just walks into their house with no problem. Where's the security? The only security guard they ever showed was the one that Danny bribed to let her in Bill and Haley's house. Why? I don't know why she couldn't just get in there herself. Leslie gets into everybody's house by herself. I don't know why Danny didn't then. But, yeah, it's kind of funny how that goes, how people just walk into people's houses on soap operas. And it's always when they don't want to see anybody. They don't want to even see their own family. And then the person that walks in is always the last person they want to see. Like, whenever Nicole sits on that couch and that doorbell rings and she says, don't let him in, either the maid's not there or they push by the maid and they come in. And it's most of the time it's Leslie. There to just drive her nuts a little more. And but as I said, Leslie's actually the most likable character right now. If you pick between Leslie and Nicole is just, I don't know. I just can't. I don't like snobs, and she's a snob, right? She's a snob. They've written her to be a snob. Danny's not a snob. Danny, she's just Danny. She just says what she thinks, and she doesn't act like she's better than other people, and that's part of the appeal of her character. We like Danny because of that, right? I think I knew that first day the show was on that Danny was going to be a character that we like. Nicole, right from the time she drove up that driveway to the country club in the opening scene of the show, you could tell she was going to be a snob. You could just tell. And like I said, she basically does the charity work to be, oh, you're so nice. That's who she is. She's one of those people. But if you see on the screen, we got some Halloween decorations for Halloween today. We don't have them on the TikTok stream, but we do have them on the YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So I found all this stuff. I found all these extra things. So now I'm going to be using them, and we'll see. I mean, why not? If you have these graphics available to you, why don't you use them? And that's what I'm doing. And it's Halloween, a good holiday, holiday for the kids. So But I think that's pretty much going to be it this week. There's not a lot more to go over. The previews looked intriguing, like they do every week. You know, they look intriguing every week, and they do get you back to watch. I mean, there really hasn't been a day where I've said, oh, I got to watch Gates now. No. I like to watch it every day. And most people know to not call me during it. My son did call me today during it. He's pretty much the only one, him or his daughters. Well, one, she's 3 months old. She's not going to call me yet. But the 3-year-old, who's almost 4, who'll be, 4 in a few weeks, actually 4 in 17 days, her and my son can call me during Beyond the Gates, and I'll either pause it and then restart it. Although that's tough to do on Friday since we do this show right after it ends. But yeah, most people know not to call me. You know, don't call Tim during Beyond the Gates. He's watching it. They know. You know, so I'm sure next week's going to be another great week. More drama, more excitement, more surprises. There's always surprises on this show. I love that too. Like things you don't expect. And they add a little comedy in there. You know what I mean? There's a little comedy mixed in. Because it doesn't need to be serious all the time. Because life isn't always serious. So I think next week, you know, we'll be back on next week. That will be November 7th. That'll be our November 7th show. And we'll talk about what happened next week. And so until then, until we meet next Friday at 3:00 on these streaming networks, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, until next week, hopefully I'll see you somewhere around Fairmount Crest.